Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on Episode 4 of Konosuba Season 2. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So it would seem as though their debt and the cold is really starting to weigh on them. Although considering the things they're talking about, the air of forced civility, it's almost uncomfortable. Because this isn't how they normally interact. And, oh, there we have it. Aqua squandered all of the money again. So what's the upshot here? Kazuma, he's going to threaten to pawn it or drink it or something. I feel like ultimately in the struggle he's going to drop the bottle and the whole thing will be wasted. Man, you drink too much if you have to cuddle a bottle of alcohol to sleep properly. That's just not good. And I guess what's even worse is that I don't think Aqua can stop Kazuma in terms of selling that, what would you call it, a scarf? She calls it a raiment, which I was given to believe that was more of a generic term for clothing. Wow. I'm only half surprised that the party doesn't recognize darkness. Although I feel like based on her reaction, they should recognize her. But, she normally doesn't wear something so low cut. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like, speaking with that choice of words, that's only going to entice darkness. That's, it's not good. And everybody's sort of assuming that a whole bunch of stuff happened. I mean, I touched on it last episode, but I kind of have my doubts that anything untoward actually happened at all, considering, just how darkness is. If something like that had happened, she would have liked it. I mean, I guess if nothing else, it's kinda nice that everybody's treating her so nicely. Ooh. Man, maybe Kazuma shouldn't just immediately destroy other people's property. I feel like there's a reason why she has a picture of him. Yeah, there we go, an arranged marriage. I feel like Yeah, maybe you shouldn't tear up pictures of Darkness's betrothed. So yeah, it seems like this is really it. She's arranged to be married, and potentially the party can avoid it, but they're gonna have to put in the legwork. I think Kazma's understanding that maybe this is a boon in its own way. Darkness was fundamentally a problem that he was wanting to offload initially. And, maybe having someone who is ostensibly a friend in high places, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Of course, part of the issue is that he's unilaterally making this decision. I guess it's kind of good that Kazma's taking a reasonable approach here that, if you decline this arranged marriage, it'll really just sort of affect everyone poorly, so, might not be a bad idea to go around and do it. Ooh, dear. Yeah, it's never good when a prosecutor shows up. Wow. Alright, so monsters show up around town and they immediately assume it has something to do with him? I mean, that's just highly unreasonable. Although I'm trying to think, I'm not sure what he could possibly have to do with any sort of monsters. Like, maybe if the undead were following Aqua, that would be something, but I don't know. Now, I can sort of understand why Kazma's doing this, in that of the other party members, Megumin is the most likely to be sort of reasonable. But I feel like talking her up this way, like, you're an arch-wizard, you can do stuff, that's probably the wrong approach, because she is going to cast explosion magic and likely cause a problem. Now, this is a bit of an unforeseen issue, that Aqua and Kazma are going to have to stifle laughter every time they hear somebody refer to darkness as La Latina. Which, I mean, as far as names go, it could be worse, I mean, I guess I can understand that the thing that makes it really funny is that darkness insists on being called darkness. Not that it's much of a better name, but she's clearly embarrassed by her name. Now, I feel like I understand the principle behind getting Aqua and Kazma to dress the part and sort of, wear something that befits a noble's mansion. But at the same time, effectively disguising them as a butler and a maid, I feel like that's asking for trouble, because, neither of them really have the manners or the temperament that their ostensible position would require. I mean, imagine someone kind of rude asks Aqua for something, or asks Kazma to fetch him a drink. I feel like he'd pour it on him in a fit of pique. So it seems like to the very end, Darkness is, I guess, kind of keeping her cards too close to her chest. Man. She really had no intention of getting married, I guess. She'll meet him, but she won't marry him. Alright, so Kazma's playing silly games too. He's a butler, so he's working for the family rather than Darkness herself. Which, that kind of does constitute a betrayal. But, and this is kind of interesting. Darkness is trying to sabotage her own marriage, and Kazuma, meanwhile, is intent on ensuring that it succeeds. I guess he's in a pretty good position to lie, because he said that whole bit about trying to avoid besmirching the name of her family. And if that means making a marriage go through, then he's more than willing to do it. You really can't blame Kazuma for his dedication to getting rid of darkness. Now, the real issue here is that it seems like, there's no real way to get Darkness's father to back out. So it's very interesting that, Darkness isn't satisfied with the guy, even though he seems to be basically good, ideal even. Yeah, you know what? This marriage might actually be the best thing for Darkness just because it's not what she wants, and what she wants is horrible. Honestly, she might be better off, if somebody just, slapped her, I think the mix of, the horrified look on Kazuma's face and the dramatic music, that's really how everyone should feel listening to this rant. So I guess at this point it's basically just sort of like covert verbal warfare, trying to ensure that things don't go poorly. Or rather, I think things are going to go poorly whether anyone wants it, but just the only hope is that things go as not bad as possible. I mean, this poor Alexei guy, he is rather polite. There really is no working with Darkness here. Anything Kazuma does to try and get her to shape up, she just considers it a benefit. Now I have to wonder here, what's gonna happen? How does everything go south? Because I feel to some degree, obviously, they can't just write off Darkness. But who fumbles the bag here, Does Darkness ultimately ruin everything, or does Aqua through her incompetence ruin things, or, is there some, freak third option? Wow. Yeah, Darkness, she's got some real odd ideas about settling this whole marriage business. And once again, she's just throwing Kazuma under the bus as an example of what this Alexei guy should be. I mean, that's just not true by any capacity. He shouldn't be like Kazuma, and ultimately, Kazuma's not the worst man there is. Oh, that's interesting. So he came down here to turn down the marriage, but now seeing the way Darkness acts, he's intrigued. This guy's a man of culture. But at the same time, I don't think he's fully prepared for what's going to happen to him. I mean, for all we know, Darkness is just demanding to be hit. Yeah, I guess to be expected, Darkness has no aptitude for sword fighting. But at the same time, Alexei has no appetite for hitting her with the sword, which, I mean, that probably irks her more than anything else. Alright, this is where things, I think, are really going to start going off the rails. You know, Darkness is roping in Kazuma. Like, you know, demonstrate the kind of person you should be. Which, I feel like it's not going to end well here. I mean, surely Kazuma can't just, like, strike her with the wooden sword. Alright, there we go. You know, he's fighting dirty. You know, why just use a sword when you can also cast magic? I mean, I guess this is a successful demonstration in that Darkness appreciates being doused. Yeah, I guess the real lesson here is behave underhanded. So this is probably the worst possible outcome for Kazuma. You know, this Alexei guy, who's, by all metrics, you know, an upstanding moral guy, he understands that Kazuma's a real jerk. Yeah, this really is a no-win situation for Kazuma now that it's moved on to grappling. Obviously, Darkness is going to beat him unless he does something underhanded like, well, use necromantic magic. Although even so, you know, there really is a no-win scenario for Kazuma. I mean, Darkness is pretty dead set on twisting his arms, like, yeah, that's bad. I mean, I feel like even if just like somebody witnesses Kazuma getting stomped by Darkness, like that alone's gonna cause a nasty rumor to spring up. Alright. Yeah, this is not good. I know Kazuma's bluffing to win here, but by bluffing, you know, he's only going to give Alexei an even worse idea of what sort of a person he is. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to us that Kazuma's lying here. He definitely doesn't intend to do anything, but man, you know, he was playing it a little too well just because he knows Darkness's weakness. Yeah, you know what? I feel like this might get him hauled in front of the prosecutor again. So Darkness is putting 2 and 2 together here, and something tells me she's approaching an answer of 5. Oh. Oh, that's bad. Invoking leftover bathwater. Nothing good comes from that. And I guess now that he's won, like, that's no good thing either. Everybody recognizes that he is a deviant for doing what he did. And I guess now that Darkness's father sees this, I mean, Kazuma would be lucky to avoid getting clapped in irons. Man, straight to capital punishment. Like, the weird thing is that Darkness gets out of this looking squeaky clean. I mean, I guess she didn't really partake in any of the tomfoolery, but man, I would have thought she would have been egging them on, if nothing else. So, Darkness was right. Her father really doesn't ever lose his temper, which is pretty commendable considering the circumstances. I guess it's good that he ultimately didn't have everyone executed, but, man, that guy has the patience of a saint. And I guess we've reached that point of the show where Kazuma is no longer willing to indulge in good manners. Man, I guess that settles it. He's stuck with Darkness. There's no getting rid of her. I mean, it's now sanctioned by her father, even if it isn't marriage per se. Ooh. Oh, man. It just goes from bad to worse. Darkness brings up the thing Kazuma was supposedly going to do, and then Kazuma says, I haven't done anything yet, implying he will. Yikes. Oh. Man, Darkness just... I'm not sure what her goal was here, aside from just torpedoing the arranged marriage. Like, if I didn't know better, I'd assume she was trying to get Kazuma killed for, having a kid out of wedlock. I'd imagine they don't look too fondly on that in this fantasy world. I guess what's even worse is that her father's happy about it, and it's a total lie. Like, fabricated whole cloth. Yeah, I feel like things are only going to get bad. Case in point. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.